Good morning, folks. NC4XL, North Carolina for extreme lovers. No, I'm not. Just dumb. The darling old man. This is going to be a different type of approach to you want to be an activator. What do I need? This is just a basic, what do I need to go out and activate? Not what I want, what do they have, okay? What do you need to go out and activate? Not what you want. I stress that because I watch so many people think, and they're building their go kit, and that's great. It's nice to have those, but what do you really need for your first few activations till you get it under your belt? So keep that in mind. This is not the only way. This is just the starting and an opinion of an old man. Okay? What do you need? First of all, you have the desire that we see. Second of all, you need a radio. Whether it's QRP or QRO, your choice, what your challenges are. QRP is a little bit more difficult, especially if the bands aren't very open either. Okay? So QRP, 10 watts or less. QRO, 100 watts. Some of the other larger radios are running 200 watts. Your radio, your antenna, and self need to be in the park. That means you can't run it remote from the house. Don't work that way. You need to be there. Okay? So, your radio, whatever you choose, the method to give it power. 3 amp, 7 amp, 12 amp, 15 amp, 36 amp, 80 amp, 100 amp battery. Your choice. I'll give you an example here for me. I run 2 15 amp hour batteries when I go out. I'm conceited. I run heavy pileups, so in 3.5 hours, I will kill a battery at 80 watts. If I were to run it at 30 watts or 40 watts, I would probably get 5 hours of operating time. Okay? Depending on how you operate. So remember, you need a radio, a means to power it, and now you need an antenna. There is no best antenna. There are several styles of antennas on the market. If you have a park where you can put up antennas in a tree, and I never asked for permission. I always asked for forgiveness. Did you hear what I said? I never asked for permission to put up an antenna. I always ask for forgiveness if somebody says something or addresses it. That's me. When I go to a park, I don't want to be the limelight like everybody say, hey, let's go talk to that guy who's got weird wires hanging there. No, I want to be off to the side. So if you go to a park and if you're able to, choose an area that's not less, say, in the middle of everybody's path to get to the lake or the gazebo or the restroom so that you're out of the way. Secondly, so you need a radio. You need a means of powering it. Now you got the antenna. If you have the Wolf River coil, is it set up for the bands that you want to operate off of? If you're going to have a tuner, have you tested it? A great method is to test everything that we're talking about in your yard if you can. I'm in a public park right now, not a POTA park. a public park here in town. And I do a lot of my videos. I come up here and I run some CW when I play. I throw the antenna up in the tree. Everybody knows me here. Okay? So, same for you. When you're getting ready to do your thing, go practice in your backyard. Set up the antenna, take it down, see what it takes. So far, all I've talked about is you need a radio, whatever antenna you use. And if you want to operate out of your car, yes, you can. You got your mag mount on, you got your ham stick on, rock and roll. Depending on where you're located at across the country, propagation is one of the hardest things that many of us need to realize. When the band is open, where we're at, and I'm going to use East Coast as an example. I go early in the morning because 40 meters is open. It runs up to around 1600 UTC before it decides to have a hissy fit. And then I work 20 and 17. I work 12 and 10. Don't limit yourself if you don't have to. Have the means if you want to, if you have other ham sticks, to sit in the car even and switch over to another band. But because you stick an antenna on a ham stick, let's say, on the car, that doesn't mean that the band's open at that time when you're there. Okay? And that's the part about learning propagation. The spotting page gives you a good indication if you're able to look at it, see where people are spotting at. Now, you're wanting to be an activator, and you're concerned about pileups. Don't be. Don't be. The easiest method to doing your first activation and not getting caught in a pileup is take the time and give yourself time. Don't think you're going to run in 20 minutes and get all the parks done, but work park to parks. Us activators work real hard to make sure that each park to park is addressed as fast as they can, because we know that they too are looking to go activate their park. But many times we activators can help each other get our parks activated. So, you do not have to spot yourself when you're working park to parks. You work 10 parks and they're all in single park, you got your activation done. You're done, if that's where you want to be. If you want to do it on CW, go to the spotting page. See where they're at, what frequency. You have their call, you have their park. Just go work them. You don't have to spot yourself. And when you're ready, you'll spot yourself, and do not hesitate to tell people, hey, this is my first activation. Take it easy on me. We all, as activators, know what you're going to go through. And I still go through it, and I've been doing it for 2 years. I still get excited. I still get overwhelmed when I cannot even pull one call out of a pileup. So, we've talked about what do I need? I need a radio. You're choosing what works for you. Whether it's QRO, QRP is immaterial. It's your radio. It's how you want to operate. Second, I need an antenna. It's whatever you choose. If you want to work out of the car, get the ham sticks. They work great. They're not the best in the world, but they're not the worst. If you want to use a Wolf River coil, if you want to use a TDL, a Delta loop, do you want to use a chameleon? Whatever you have is yours. So don't worry about trying to be somebody else. Don't be like somebody else. Be you. Be prepared to have fun. You're going to have opportunities where you don't get nothing, and you're going to get frustrated, and you're normal. Now, I'm going to get into a rough section of the activation, because I didn't grow up with a waterfall on a radio. Okay? I grew up with paper and pencil, not a logging program. Where I'm going with this is simple. When you're going out to your first activations, take your paper and pencil and log it on paper and pencil and go home and put it in a logging program. You're not in a race to get it up. You're not going to be famous or less famous because you didn't get it up in 2 minutes. I get so frustrated when you see people, why hasn't my log, why don't I see, why? Most of the hunters have no earthly idea what it takes. You might drive 2 hours to get to the park and the gate's locked. And it cost you $30-some in gas to get there. It's your activation. But when you go, don't have to consider, well, I need a laptop and I need this and I need that. You need a radio. Oh, I'm being ugly, I know it. You need an antenna, a means to power the radio, and a method to log it. That means paper and pencil. If you want to move up and have a laptop so you can call, hey, Joe, how are you doing? You don't even know who Joe is or what they look like. And it's nice to greet people, yes. I try very hard to learn the names as I do log them at home. Okay, when I'm sitting in my own nice, comfortable environment where I have a restroom, I have snacks, I have food, okay? But while I'm out there in a park, especially after I'm activating and I get clobbered by all those beautiful 5.9 signals, I don't want to be worried that I'm slowed down because I'm trying to type in a little cell phone a call sign, and then it was wrong, and then I got to go back, and now I got frustration set. Don't do it, folks. You can do that as you progress in this hobby. You can move up to a laptop. Mike and I always paper log, and when he goes with, 90% of the time he paper logs, but that 10% he's got the laptop there. And we cross-check it. And we found boo-boos because it's going to happen. They call a fat finger. So, I'll go back again. You need a radio, you're choosing. You need an antenna, what's available to you and what you're going to use. You need a method to charge, operate your radio power-wise, battery, or if you're at a pavilion and you got electricity, go for it. Okay? You need a method of logging it. It's paper, pencil, paper, pencil. Whether you're got a laptop or with you, and it doesn't make a difference, always carry paper and pencil. Because when your laptop fails, instead of your activation going south, put your daggone laptop or a device to the side and just start writing. You know, it's very simple. Write it and then go home and do it. But don't let the activation fail because you think you needed a laptop to make a POTA activation. That is bogus. And it's very frustrating for some of us old people because we're not in a race. Did you hear that, activator? You're not in a race to get 17 contacts in a minute type stuff. Don't let that happen. I run hard, yes, but if you followed me, I'm going to chit-chat. And what I'm sharing there, it's your activation. If you want to talk to every single person, you do that. It's your activation, your time, your money, your equipment, your location. You go out and enjoy having fun, activating the park the way you want. Again, it's not a race. We're not in a contest. Everybody's not 5'9". And the pileups are noisy, and it's overwhelming. But you only need just some basic things to run an activation. One, the desire, you're crazy enough to be watching this video, or maybe share this video to somebody else who's thinking about it. I really would like for you to do that. If you know somebody who's thinking about it, I'm not a smart old man. I'm just an old man, but I have some ideas that maybe somebody can use. But get you a radio that you want to use. You don't have to get what they got. Get you an antenna that you want to use, that you built or somebody gave you, and you've got it tuned and you want to try it, try it. It may not work. Get you a source to power it. I'm repeating myself because I really want you to realize you don't need all the other stuff to do an activation. Okay? Your activation should be fun and overwhelming and exciting and adrenaline rush. And when band conditions are bad and I only got 7, send a log up. It's not a race, it's not a contest. Those people that you got, they appreciated you. Okay? I don't use the word failure a lot. I really don't like that word because if we don't make mistakes in life or we have some bumps in the road, we're not going to learn how to overcome them or how to go forward. But this POTA Parks on the Air family is very close-knit and very forgiving too. You're going to have sad hams everywhere you go, whether it's with Parks on the Air or any other organization. That's normal. Your activation, what you need is simple. A radio, means of power, antenna, paper, pencil, and that almighty desire you have to go out and have fun. NC4XL, North Carolina, for extreme lovers. I am sorry if I have bored you, but you don't have to have what everybody else has. Just keep your spirit, go have fun, share it with your clubs, with your family, with your friends, and you'll be surprised where you'll be talking around the world. North Carolina for extreme lovers, a darling old man is all I am, 73s, and have fun.